All right, look, I'm gonna be honest before we start. I almost didn't make this video. I got the text message that the hamburgers and hot dogs were almost done. I was ready to book it up on out of here, throw on the little little bathing suit, the Speedo I got. You know, we don't want any tan lines. And I was ready to go stuff my face. But here we are. We got to get it done, folks. This is gonna be an absolute banger of a video. I'm telling you that right now. Everything I have lined up from the president to an organization pushing the Clarity Act, to what else I got up there? Oh, to what Robinhood is doing. Woo, what Robinhood's doing. Folks, we just got to get into it. So enough of me flapping, but first, get on over to Rip Talks Money. New video coming out on Monday, how we're going to take 1 million and turn it into 5 million in retirement without even knowing it. That's what the video is about. You're not going to want to miss it. It's going to be a banger. Now, first piece, look, we talked about this in the initial video. Let me turn my light on here. Bam! Let there be light. We talked about this in the first video of the day, okay? We're going to start with this because this is going to lead us into exactly where we are going. So, Noble, National Organization of Black Law Enforcement. They became the first major law enforcement organization to formally endorse the Clarity Act. Now, you know what they say. All it takes is one, and then the rest will follow. Ripple's even told us that. No one ever wants to be first, but no one wants to be last. So Noble seems like they got the balls to go ahead and push this through. There's the letter, signed by their president. Boom. Now, the language here that you're seeing on your screen, which is probably either this way or this way, okay, the language matters. They said that the bill, and I'm reading this directly, preserves long-standing criminal enforcement authorities. That is deliberate. There's been pushback from other law enforcement groups, specifically, and I'll name them, why not? I don't care. Sheriff's groups, around something called BRCA, Section 604 exemption. And the argument was basically that the Clarity Act guts their ability to go after the bad actors. Well, Noble just walked right into this debate head on, smashed it, and said, yeah, no, that's not what's happening. Public safety and technology innovation can move together. Now, think about what that means here. The hesitation from law enforcement, it's been real, no doubt about it. It's been used as a reason to stall. Noble just neutralized that argument, at least enough to take it off the table as a blocker. That piece right there is absolutely massive, because that brings us over to this. This is an interesting clip. So that, as you know, is your boy up there. But this one has to do with BlackRock. They smelt the Folgers. Well, or I should say they smelt it. They're about to smell the Folgers. And they're not going to be able to lay in bed no longer. And we're talking about an executive over there named Joseph Shalamam. And here's the setup before we roll it, right? If you make serious money on crypto this cycle and you're not structured as an LLC or S Corp, you're overpaying taxes by thousands. This is the move most retail holders never think about until it's too late. When you exit a big position, how you're structured legally, it can be the difference between keeping 60 cents on the dollar or even 80. I built the calculator inside Cryptofolio CFO that shows you exactly when it makes sense to form an LLC or S Corp based on your portfolio size and your projected exit number. It runs the math so you can make that decision, not scrambling to call an accountant after. It even tells you and walks you through how to set up both of these step by step. This feature alone, it could save you more than the app costs for life. Free 7-day trial right now. BlackRock, biggest, largest, whatever word you want to throw in their asset manager on the planet. BlackRock's not a crypto company. They're not trying to hype anything up, right? When we get public statements out there about legislation, it's because they've run the numbers and they don't like what they see. Listen up to this.
Over the past year, we have moved purposefully to answer President Trump's call to make America the crypto capital of the world. Through what we're calling Project Crypto, we are taking historic steps to modernize our rules and regulations to facilitate markets moving on chain. And after years of obscurity, we have delivered long called for certainty to digital asset issuers so that investors and entrepreneurs today can know before they act whether a digital asset is considered a security and therefore subject to SEC oversight. To be clear, this is not a favor to industry, it's what markets require to function. Clear rules of the road applied without preference. But a modernized framework is only as valuable as to the clarity with which it is applied, thus the C for clarity. So after years of fragmented oversight and overlapping authorities, the SEC and the Commodity Futures Trading Commission signed a historic memorandum of understanding between our two agencies, a framework for aligning key definitions, coordinating oversight, and replacing a regulatory no man's land between the two agencies with fertile new ground for innovation to grow.
Doesn't he almost sound like a bot, right? Look, this is what he's saying. He's saying like Singapore and Dubai already building the frameworks. And if the Clarity Act keeps stalling, guess what? Asia's not going to wait, right? Asia will not wait. BlackRock isn't cheerleading here, right? No, this is a warning. There is a big difference here. This is like the Wi-Fi thing. Remember, we always talk about the Wi-Fi thing. Wi-Fi used to be some nerdy tech where you would need to call someone in to do because no one could understand it. No one even knew what it was. Some people said they never want to even use Wi-Fi. Now the first thing you do, you pick up your phone, when you book in a hotel, hey, you guys do have Wi-Fi, right? It's free. Or you book in a cruise, yo, cruise, I need that Wi-Fi plan. You need it everywhere you go. Everywhere you go. We need the Clarity Act passed. We need to keep pushing forward because we are not going to lose out as a country to the other side of the world because they're worried that President Trump owns crypto. He held crypto before he became president. Why don't you go sit down with the people who were doing all their insider stocks? Don't get me going. We made a video on that. And then here's the clip from Trump again. We got to listen to this because this is really going to set this up for the second half of this video.
A large sum of money made in crypto. Did you know that your family business was going to engage in crypto? Did you have anything?
Well, I was here before. I was there before I was in office. But the way I view crypto is a little differently. We have to be at the top. Otherwise, China's going to take it over. Like, for instance, AI. We're leading substantially in AI over China and everybody else. I mean, we're leading. When I was with President Xi 3 weeks ago, he greeted me and his first words, I mean, literally were, wow, you've really done a great job. You've really, because this country we had a country, now we have the hottest country in the world. And the way I look at AI or the way I look at crypto is if we're not going to do it, China's going to get it. Most likely China, but somebody else. Japan is somebody else. And I want to, it's a big industry. Crypto, you could call it an industry, but it's a big deal. And crypto is a big deal. You look at it and the way it's grown over the years. You have believers, you don't have believers, you know, whatever it is. But it's a big deal. And anything we do, I want to be number one in. And we're number one in crypto, and we're also number one in AI.
In the disclosure this week.
All right, so there you go. He was in crypto before he was president. 2, he told you crypto is a big deal. And number 3, U.S. is number one in crypto and AI, folks. Now, I want to be careful here because people are going to say, and I already see the comment section, that's just Trump talking. Yeah, sure, maybe. All right, time will tell, right? But you have to put the piece where it belongs in the puzzle. And the piece belongs right here. The president of the United States just said on camera where millions beyond millions of people saw this clip that this country is number one in crypto. You do not say that and let the Clarity Act die in the Senate. That is not how politics works. The Clarity Act will be passed. Crypto will be at all-time highs before his term is up. I've already said everything happens under Trump. It already did for the stock market. I'm not saying the stock market won't go higher, but it's made new all-time highs when everyone said it was going to crash, it's going to blow. And crypto's going to do the same thing. 2027 and 2028 are going to be absolutely phenomenal for crypto. That is what everything is shaping up for. Bottom comes in Q3, Q4, like I've been saying, 2027, 2028, super freaking bullish, which gets us over to this Bloomberg intelligence. Yes, Bloomberg. Listen.
The Clarity Act's compromise text over the upcoming 4th of July weekend. But Galaxy Research reduced the odds of the act passing this year to 50%. That's down from 60% earlier this month. Joining us for more is Nathan Dean. He's with Bloomberg Intelligence, and he will be helping us break this all down. So, Nathan, what is the most significant change from this updated draft compared with the previous versions? I mean, does it meaningfully address Democratic concerns like ethics or conflicts of interest?
We think it does on the ethics side, but we do think that there needs to be more work done on the law enforcement side, aka the bank, bank provisions that essentially allows you to do Know Your Customer, Bank Secrecy Act, and anti-money laundering. Now, this text will come out over the 4th of July weekend. Senate returns on July 13th. There's essentially going to be 2 weeks worth of debate, and we do think that there's going to be a vote, whether the votes are there or not. Now, I'm at 60% chance that this will pass. I may be out of consensus here, but ultimately, this is going to be the final month for this bill to get across the line. If it doesn't, then we see August recess, and I think it's going to just essentially slip and not pass during this congressional session. So a lot of debate has to happen in July, but ultimately I think they can get it through.
60% this month. And the quote is, a lot of debate has to happen in July, but ultimately, I think they can get it through. So BlackRock says 39% for this year. Bloomberg said 60% for this month specifically. Those numbers aren't contradictory now, are they? They're telling you the same thing from two different angles. The window is now. The pressure is real, and the momentum shifted in the last few weeks. And the people who track all this legislative stuff for a living, they're starting to notice. Mid-July, I think it's like July 17th, is the next time that they will talk about it. Then look at this, XRP spot ETFs. Here's what's crazy about your spot ETFs. I believe there's 7 of them, right? 7 total. Bitcoin's bleeding out. ETH's bleeding out. XRP ETFs, they continue to push up. They continue to see inflows. And the craziest part is that we don't really have a big ETF issuer. I've told you before, everyone wants to say Franklin Templeton. They're a big name. Look, Frankie T is great in traditional finance. They are not big in crypto. If I put it on there, I would tell you that either, I think it's Bitwise. I get them confused. Bitwise or Canary. One of them is bigger in crypto than Frankie T. Frankie T's name is bigger, but Bitwise or Canary, I think it's Bitwise, they are an actual bigger in crypto than Franklin T is. And yet somehow Bitcoin and Ethereum are bleeding out and XRP keeps gaining up. What does that tell you? The institutions are loading up. They ain't scared. They think this is a great buying opportunity. And you know what? Not financial advice. It is right around $1. I mean, do we go lower? We can always go lower. There is no perfect timing of the bottom of this market. It is impossible. The smart thing to do, what I tell everyone to do, dollar cost average. Every Monday, the same amount until this thing goes up 50%. Then you can stop accumulating. You don't really want to raise a DCA, right? You want to lower a DCA. But if you do $100 on Monday and the price dips next Monday, you do $100 then and the price goes back up and another $100, you're going to have a pretty much even flat price, folks. I've been buying XLM for, I don't know, 6, 7. I can't even remember. I can't even remember. I just buy it every Monday. Every Monday. I honestly don't even know how much XLM I has because it just does it. And in order for me to log into the account, I got to go dig out an iPad and 2-factor in so I can see what I don't care. I'm just going to keep accumulating until XLM rips up, then I'll stop buying it. But right now, the craziest part about all that, and think about this, the 6 or 7 years I've been buying XLM every week, I maybe I'm up a tiny bit. Like I think my dollar cost average might be 10 cents. And what is it, 20 cents? So like 2x my money over that 8-year time frame. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's good at 2x. I mean, but a 2x in 7 years isn't the best. You could do that in the stock market as well, right? But hey, whatever. It is what it is because I know XLM's going higher. You know XLM is going higher as well. All right, we had the one last piece of Robinhood. I'm not going to show it. I don't want this to run too long. It's already about 15 minutes. But look, here's how I want to end this. Everything that I showed you today, okay, not because not one of those things is going to break the internet, but because together they make a picture that is getting harder and harder to dismiss. And honestly, I just want to say something real for a second. Have you been here since the SEC case? Since the years where every other coin was doing something and this one wasn't? Since the days where you had to explain yourself to people who thought that you were delusional and they tried to put you in a halfway house? I see you. This wasn't easy, man. And most people didn't make it out. I lost a lot of crypto friends, homies, whatever you want to call them over my past decade here. They're gone. They couldn't take it anymore. Things came up, life hit them, they needed money. But you did. And that right there, it's worth something. Hit that like and subscribe. I'll catch all y'all